I know JW Wright from the tournament scene. Coming up the ranks, I would compete a lot, and JW, was already running a well-run tournament.
I quit my job, which was in the finance world at the time, moved out to JW's to train with him. I've trained, I think, in almost every single gym in St. Louis, and nothing even compares.
Man, it's a funny story. When I first met JW, he said, "Look, I'm gonna give you something that's gonna change your life." And I didn't really know what it meant.
I look up to JW a lot because I feel like he's very like-minded, shares the same passion that I have for jiu-jitsu, but he really sees that jiu-jitsu is for everyone, and it can help older people, weak people, small people, like overweight people, anybody. Jiu-jitsu is for everyone. And
magician, because now you see him and now you don't. 1 second he's here and the next second he's over there. How he got there, I have no idea.
So are you really going to ask me who has better karaoke skills, me or JW? Hands down, I would destroy him.
If I could describe JW in a phrase, what comes to mind is best hair ever.
Andy has amazing hair.
If I could describe his hair in, it would be Ricky Schroeder-ish, circa Silver Spoon's late 80s.
If I could describe JW's hair in one word, it would be magnificent.
My name's JW Wright. I've been training martial arts since I was 15 years old, so 25 years. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, I've been training with Masters David Adiv and Hoyler Gracie since 1999, so right at 16 years. Story of how I found real Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's the most important thing, is like, how did I find Gracie Jiu-Jitsu? Like so many other people, I watched the UFC in 1993. I watched the video of Hoist Gracie, tapping all these guys out. Being a traditional martial artist, coming from karate and everything else I could find as a kid, it was so alien. It was alien to everyone. It was like this Brazilian guy landed on the planet, we never heard of anything, and then boom, all of a sudden we see what Jiu-Jitsu's about. 95, I was graduating from high school, and Hoist did a seminar a few hours away from me, and I went and did that seminar. Funny thing to happen is, like, I saved enough money. I didn't come from a wealthy family, and I had to work for everything I had, and I saved up enough money, me and my friend, to go to one day of a 2-day Hoist Gracie seminar. And after the first day, we just was in love with jiu-jitsu and just amazed by everything he showed. And his wonderful wife was there helping, and whenever we said goodbye that day, she said, "Well, why aren't you guys staying for the second day?" And we were like, "Well, we're poor kids." And she said, "Well, you guys bought a t-shirt to remember the day, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, we'll call that even then." And she let us stay for the second day. And that's one of the things I started seeing. Is like, if instructors really saw passion, if they really saw passion in the students, then they would help them a little more, And I thought, I've always kind of taken that mindset as, I make my living through jiu-jitsu. I can't teach everybody for free, but I will do everything in my power to help people get to that next level, no matter if it's postponing for a month tuition or something like that. I'll never forget the day that Hoist's wife let us train for free. In 1999, I remember got online, and looked up who is the absolute best competitor in my weight class. Who's the best? I just wanted to know. And it came up Hoyler Gracie. He had won the World Championships 4 times in a row. Had just won the Abu Dhabi No-Gi Championship. And I'm like, well, that's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to see that he's the best competitor that had ever come at that point at my weight class. I'm going to go train with this guy, because who better? The Gracie family, Hoist's brother, and the best competitor in the world. Problem, he lived in Brazil. So then became like, well, wow, maybe I could find one of his reps. And what happened first is I just happened to catch Hoyler at the Arnold Classic one year. I begged and pleaded some managers and things to be able to get one of 2 private lessons for that weekend. So I snuck in with me and a few of the people that were training Sambo with me, and I did a 1-hour private lesson with Hoyler, and was so blown away by the simple principles that I had no idea about before that lesson. I really started to realize that if you don't get water from its purest source, then maybe you're missing a lot of the details, or you're not getting the cleanest version, So my new goal there was, Hoyler said, hey, good job. I competed the next day against actually one of his students. We had a good match, but he after the match, he came up, he congratulated me. He's like, hey, good job. He goes, work on these things. And he took the time to do that. And I was like, man, what a great guy. Treated every person that he was around and with me with the utmost respect. So people don't have to, they don't have to do that. And I just saw what an amazing person he was. And I said, Hoyler, if you are in Brazil, and I'm going to get to Brazil, I'll come down and train with you, but who else should I train with? And he goes, you need to talk to JWdone. He goes, David is one of my best friends. He goes, he represents my jiu-jitsu. And he goes, I think that you two would fit. And I was like, okay. So he gives me David's cell phone number. I get home that weekend. I call David, and David answers the phone, and he's like, hey, where you at? I go, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. And David had no idea where that was at. So it was like, I'm like, man, he's like, okay, if you want to make it up here, you can train. Process goes, about 6 months later, I decide to take a whole week's vacation. Saw Hoyler was coming to New York City, and I was going to go do a private lesson every day and a class every night. So no matter if they had a class or a seminar, I was going to attend. Just pure immersion of jiu-jitsu that whole week. And I didn't tell Hoyler, didn't tell David I was coming. I just showed up at the seminar. Hoyler's walking by, and he recognizes me. He goes, hey, JW, what are you doing here? And I'm like, how can this guy remember me from 6 months ago with one lesson? How did he remember my name? And I was like, man, that's amazing. So he said, okay, we'll talk in a little bit. We'll get back to the seminar, do the seminar. And he's like, hey, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here to train all week. And he's shocked. He's just like, what? He's like, you on vacation? I go, vacation of training jiu-jitsu. I go, I'm here to learn jiu-jitsu. And that's when I got to know David and Hoyler. And every day they let me come to David's house, do private lesson, help with the other private lessons, and then drive with them that night to do the seminars. What I did after that last week was they asked me one real thing. What do you want to get out of jiu-jitsu? What do you want to get out of coming up here and training with us? You're spending a bunch of money to get here. You're taking all your time to do this. And I said, I want to be able to say that I'm a student of Hoyler Gracie and JWdone. And they're like, well, that's official. You are our student. So now I felt that connection, and those guys, they went above and beyond to give me a place to stay sometimes. Not worry about a lot of the things in life that can monetarily get you down, but they gave me the chance. And Hoyler and David both took the time to put me underneath their wing and bring me with them. They always treated me like a brother, and because of that, we'll say we're 16 years later, every belt I ever received from them was from Hoyler and David. They are my masters. They are the people that I have the utmost respect for. And that learning doesn't stop. And that's something that I'm seeing more and more today. It's easier for people to jump around and get belts from different people. That, for me, being loyal and doing what you say you do. It's easy to say something. It's backing that up and doing it is one thing I always promised David and Hoyler, and that's why we've always had just an unbelievable relationship. A long time ago, Master JWdone said, you have one job, and it's very, very important. Only teach good people jiu-jitsu. Oh my God. You know what kind of responsibility that is? Only teach good people jiu-jitsu. How do I judge who's a good person? At the time, like 10 years ago, whatever, I don't think I would have understood that comment. Now I understand, are people coming in the door to help you create an environment that enriches other people's lives? Is that happening? That's what I need to do. So now I see it, being a little bit more mature, being around jiu-jitsu for a long time. Maybe people want to use it to fight. Maybe people want to use it for bad reasons. I don't teach those people. I teach people that want to come in here and add value to their community. And is it by adding value to make themselves more confident? Is it to add value to help teach kids? Is it bully proofing our kids? There's a million different reasons that I love my students, and I am so blessed to have them in my life. But without each other, we'd be nothing. And I truly believe that. I think I'm not a crazy religious person, but I believe in one thing. I believe that we're all put on this earth to do something great. And I think that I found it through jiu-jitsu. And it wasn't that I'm the greatest at teaching jiu-jitsu. I think it's great that I'm able to bring jiu-jitsu to people. My job is to bring jiu-jitsu to all these people all across the country. So I think we're in a very unique situation where I'm blessed to have the greatest students, and they're in a role to be able to help spread jiu-jitsu for the Gracie family. Try to get your hand in that collar as fast as you can. Phil, keep your legs closed. I know this is a problem for you. Movement. I pull myself out to where my knee is hooked. Okay? Just here. So now what's going to happen? He's going to fight into me, right? He's going to fight into me. Now I can go right back. I can't compete with his facial hair. His facial hair really takes it away. If we do product in the hair, like it's not real good right now, but I think I'd beat him in a hairstyle contest. But karaoke, Kyle Watson is unstoppable, and I'm just a backup singer. We good? Okay, awesome, man.